Hi, and welcome back to Women's Secrets.
Two sisters,
Two dogs
two countries.
coming together in the middle to bring you the stuff that people don't want to talk about. Thank you to everybody that has supported us again up until now. We're really happy to be back. We have been putting the feelers out to see who wants what, and we've got a corker of a show for you today. What's happening?
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about parents' patience.
Oh yeah, and also we're going to dig into depression from obsession.
Ooh.
So we're still on the teenage dramas series, which means we are still basing our shows around what happens in teenagers' lives, coming from two mums. We're not claiming to be experts.
Right.
We're both coaches, and
Yeah.
still we just want to bring you the stuff that maybe people aren't saying on a daily basis.
And somewhere for people to go to not feel so alone.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
When stuff goes wrong and we feel like we are failing as parents, where do you go?
Oh
You
yeah.
can speak to family, you can speak to friends. So this is an extension of us sharing our experiences with you. I'm kind of coming through it, although it doesn't seem to end with a 19 and an 18-year-old. You're in the thick of it.
I'm still in the thick of it,
All
and
right.
I've got friends calling me whose children have gone way beyond teenage and they're still in the thick of it. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to be sharing today. So let's dive straight in.
Okay, so how do you remain cool and how do you remain in your most resourceful state? This one's for you.
Yeah. Thanks.
When your teenager is, we've touched on this before, but when they are slamming doors, shouting back, high levels of stress, as a parent, I'm going to propose this question to you
Okay.
because you're in the middle of it. As a parent, what do you do? How can you remain in your most resourceful state to create the best outcome? Otherwise, if we're shouting back and we're just fighting fire with fire.
Sure. Which I've tried.
Okay.
So being a single mom of a very headstrong 13, soon to be 14-year-old girl, it's been a rocky road, people. Make no mistakes, I'm never going to pretend that my life is perfect. And, you know, social media can always paint this picture because you can paint pretty pictures, take gorgeous photos, blah, blah, blah. And it's part of the reason why we're doing this podcast too, is that the reality sometimes sucks.
It's gritty.
To use one of my best friend's terms, that sucks. She is American. Hi, Bran. That one's for you. Yeah, what happens? Well, I've been seeing red for many years now, and also training to be a communication coach, which I'm now practicing. So there's a body of work that has really helped me that I'm going to share later on, because we're not here to necessarily be advertising anything. It's really just to bring you our personal experiences and experiences that you guys out there are sharing with us. So here's what's been happening for me. Are you ready? We've gone from you slam a door, I'm playing mom and dad. I'm going to show you the rules. This is the rules of the house. These are the rules of the house. This is what I expect. What else? This is not acceptable. And also aiming to remain on her level in a way that bringing it back to, okay, when it's calm, let's talk about what happened. Let's go back and revisit. And again, as we've already mentioned, to not go over stuff from the old shows. So your question is, how do I cope when the shit hits the fan, basically?
Yeah. Which I know you've been practicing.
Yeah, you've been here now for
recently.
many weeks, and have you seen a difference?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen a shift?
I have seen a shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? I guess your presence has been super helpful.
Okay.
And that may sound like, I don't know, what does that sound like? I can't cope on my own. That's not what I'm saying. When you're a single parent, and you could be father or mother, shout out to you guys, because there's no let up. You've got no one to go to. You've got no one witnessing the scene. You've got no one to then let off your steam. So your child may take the brunt of your frustration coming from their frustration. So it's like this never-ending cycle. It's like this perpetual cycle of bullshit that you sometimes can't get out of. And yeah, I've been really practicing and pulling out all the stops for at least a year now. So I'm not going to lie and say that this can be done overnight. I've had professional help. I've had support from my family. I've had support from friends. Talked about this a lot. And now what I'm doing is acting as if nothing happened. Poof, like nothing just happened. And that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Like some old, what was that guy's name? The magician that we used to watch on TV? Paul Daniels magic trick. Nothing happened. Did you get that? Did you see that? So honestly, it is that easy if you can master your emotions. There's the key.
Checking in with yourself constantly. Why is it triggering me? What's going on for me? What happens when she slams the door or he slams the door? Why does that?
Not just slam the door, by the way. Why, when they swear at you, when they disrespect you, when they leave the stuff on the table that they're supposed to have moved 3 hours ago and you've asked them 5 flipping times, when you go into the bedroom and it's all on the floor, when you have
wet towels,
when they've got 6 towels out and there's only one little body and you just can't work out why, when friends come over and there's stuff all over the place, when the door's left open, when the bike's not put away, whatever that may be that teenagers do, the list is endless. Whatever they may do, it's about letting it be.
And choosing your battles, right?
Yeah, and it's so damn hard.
It is.
Because we're here to be parents. And we're here to parent. So that means, well, I think most of us have this impression that we have to be in action to be parenting. And actually, when you shift into the N for nothing gear, not neutral, literally nothing. So, okay, they just spoke really bad to me. Usually never going to let that go. Spent years telling her. So I guess this is specific to teenage, because I wouldn't say at a younger age, let this go. So from my personal experience, I'm saying at that teenage age where they already know it's wrong. They already know they're pushing the boundaries. They already know what buttons to press. They're 3 top things already. Then that's when you have to go, poof, let it go.
Choose what's hugely important. Hello.
Well, it's all important though. That's the thing.
It's important, but choosing your battles. Because if we pick at absolutely everything that they are doing, and remember,
which I've done for years.
We're moulding young adults here, so they're going to kick back, they're going to show their personality, they're going to be defiant. This is just how it is. And when we decide that we are going to remain in our most resourceful state throughout all of that, it's not going to happen all the time, because there's going to be things that you're going to fly off the handle. That's okay. That's not all the time. It's natural. So again, it's checking in with yourself. Why have I reacted like that? But equally so, it's being powerful and standing in your power of, I don't need to react to that. Let them do that. This.
My goodness. You make it sound so easy, and it's taken me.
It's not easy.
Yes.
It's not easy. I've done it 1,000 times over. I've absolutely
You've come
lost
through
it.
the other end.
Yeah. So now I can see that when I witness,
you watch me.
Right. So I'm going to obviously relate this to what you're going through. When I witness those things as the third person, as the third perspective,
the fairy in the background,
right?
Let it go, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let this go.
I can see
cannot do this.
I can see it so differently, and I can also see from teenager's perspective, what's happening?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a point that I do want to make here is that, and this is, you and I have talked about this today, is this is temporary. This is not going to be. This is not going to be forever. It feels like you're in the middle of it. It's never ending. Every day is a battle. It's exhausting. But one day, where I am, they're no longer there.
I don't know. I think that is actually very unique. Everybody's situation is unique, completely subjective, because, you know, we're going to get on to depression from obsession later on. And I spoke to a very old friend of mine today who thankfully tuned in to the first couple of episodes of the podcast and said, oh, I've just raised 4 children. They're now 25, 21, 20, and recomposed family, so another 20-year-old. And she picked up the phone and went blah, 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 and it's not over yet. And, you know, this example is a 25-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old son and a 21-year-old son, and it's not over. So I guess that's going to be another episode. You're saying it's a phase. I think everything is a phase, and we hear that as parents when we go through terrible 2s to the whatever they get to 4s and 5s, and then the 7-year-olds that seem to know everything about everything even more than you know, and then I don't know, all these different stages, and I can't name them like that, although I've probably read them at some point in a, you know, psychology book somewhere. It's never ending. We just constantly have to evolve with our children. And that's what's so tiring and tough, especially, and again, I'm always going to keep shouting out to those single parents. And we talked about this earlier as well, even single moms or single dads, because you may be in a partnership and the other person is out working. So you still seem to be single parenting. You know, lots of mums stay at home and dad goes out to work, or it could be vice versa, and it is these days. So,
but even for those who both work and come home,
and a lot of people both
deal with the same issues.
Yeah. So it's really about checking in with self and how you react. Reaction, not, what do I want to say?
A reaction to
it's a conscious response rather than an unconscious reaction. Because by letting it go, and as you keep saying, choose your battles, and I'm like, I can't hear that anymore. When you finally let go of the door slam or the mouthing off because they're looking for that bite, or they didn't wash up when you asked them to, or whatever it was you were looking for them to do because that fits into your adult perfect world, or whatever it is, your expectations. When you can practice letting go and just being calm, you feel so good. Because I know I've been to the height of my heights with losing the plot. And now, as she storms up the stairs and does whatever she needs to do, and I have been able to look at you and go, here we go again, or you've looked at me and said, oh, the Sunday slamming, or whatever we've called it. We've coined a little phrase each time that's happened. Instead of me going to 100 of craziness, I've been at 8 to 9, out of 100 going, yeah, okay, just going to deal with it. Not my issue. And I've actually laughed to myself about what she's done.
So this is taking control. This is self-awareness.
Emotional mastery.
Right, emotional mastery. This is remaining in your most resourceful state and taking control of the situation. They are going to push your buttons. They are going to push boundaries. They are going to do these things. And then sometimes how we react to that situation can be hugely
detrimental.
Detrimental, but also can switch it entirely. So watching a recent situation between you and your teenager was very interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you stayed calm
and she had nowhere to go.
It was diffused.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Nothing more. And then when she came down later, we talked about, okay, that was not okay. What happened for you? What happened, in that situation? Why did you feel the need to act that way? And then you got over it. You know, and we hold on to absolutely every single thing.
Ego.
It just, right, it's ego fuel, but also it's just layering. And then you don't let go of what they did yesterday. And then you don't let go of what they did last week. And actually that can be really detrimental to your relationship. Because
And
we
your
can
health.
and your mental well-being. Because then we have, you know, it becomes, every day becomes a battle over everything.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a 7-layer dip.
Yeah.
Or a trifle.
Yeah.
You just keep adding to it. And then when you flip,
yeah,
you're kind of delving back into layers of frustration, anger, pissed offness, if that's a word. So yeah, we want to share that with you today. Parents' patience. If you can aim to practice letting go at the height of your crazy flip moments, then check it out. Give it a whirl. See how it looks on you. Yeah. We don't say try, we say practice. We don't want to try, we want to practice. And we want you to let us know how it feels, because it's a revelation, people. It's a revelation.
And I think you regain, I'm going to use the word power. You regain your power, you know, because it can be, we go back to that word triggering, and and you can regain your power over at least yourself and then that situation. And it can work.
Well, we're modelling, aren't we, for our children? So even at this age, when I've lost the plot and she loses the plot, or whoever else is losing the plot, and then children model that it's monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as much as we've been able to create some form of communication bridge, there's always a little something missing when I go crazy. It goes off the page. So there you have it, folks. Sounds really easy. Our challenge to you this week is, when you want to lose the absolute plot, act as if nothing happened. As long as nobody's in danger, nobody's health is, you know, on the line, safety, blah, 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 safety Suze and everything like that. Give it a go.
The daily stuff.
It's almost like turning a blind eye where it's possible, and, you know, when it is possible. So thank you for that. Oh, and I'd love to give a shout out to amycarrollcoaching.com. If you want to go to her website, carrollcoaching.com. RRLL is Amy, with whom I work, and I've been working for 6 years, an amazing coach in communication. And it's thanks to much of her model that I've been able to apply this and my sister's advice to my teenager. And these models are really aimed at adults, and so it's kind of experimental. And another shout out for Shalita, because you do actually coach people with their teenagers
and parents.
So if you're looking for a little bit of extra help, go to your website, which is
ShalitaFrostLifeCoaching.com.
.co.uk. See, I'm still in France. Okay, end of part 1. For the third part of the teenage drama series, we'll be back with more. The doggos are sleeping. It's quite late at night. Thanks for being here. We'll be back.
Ciao.